Hatching eggs is a timeless experience for children and adults alike. Incubation may initially appear daunting, but as you begin, you'll soon realize how fun and easy it can be. This guide will help you with the whole process of incubating eggs, from beginning to end. When selecting your incubator, there are a couple of questions to answer. Should I make my own or buy one? With all the options out there, which one is the best for what I need? What's the difference in all these incubators? A few key things to look for in selecting an incubator is the egg capacity, the price, and the quality of your incubator. Make sure the incubator will be able to fit all the eggs you want to incubate. Most incubators will be labeled with the capacity, which will vary depending on the size of the egg you want to hatch. For example, the Incubator all-in-one automatic egg incubator can hold about 17 goose eggs, or around 49 for quail eggs. It's also important to look at the price and quality of the incubator. Although a lower price doesn't always mean lesser quality, it's important to remember that good equipment will influence good hatches, while cheaper incubators may contribute to poor hatches. Be sure to look at what's well rated among other hatchers to find what's best for you. At incubatorwarehouse.com, you'll be able to find a wide variety of incubators in several different price ranges, with reviews from actual customers so that you can get a feel for how they perform. Once you've received your incubator, it's time to find the right location for it. It's best to keep the incubator in an environment with consistent temperature and humidity, as drastic changes in the area around the incubator may affect the hatch inside. Find somewhere with a constant temperature and out of direct sunlight. Also, avoid any hot or cold spots, such as around vents or drafty areas. Before you've bought or received your eggs, pull out all your equipment and test it. This will give you the chance to get familiar with your incubator. It will also give your incubator the time to stabilize so that your eggs can be placed into a steady environment. You can use a tool like the IncuTherm or IncuTherm Plus to monitor the temperature and humidity levels. When selecting eggs to buy, remember that local is best. If you can find fertile eggs near your location, you'll have better control over how they are moved, and you'll be able to place them in your incubator in the same day. You can still experience great success with buying your eggs online. However, it's important to note that the long shipping times and sharp changes in temperature that come as a result of being shipped over the course of several days may reduce your hatch rate. As a good rule of thumb, try to get your eggs in an incubator within 7 to 10 days after being laid. The longer they're outside of an incubator, the less chance they'll have of developing. If you need to store the eggs, make sure to store them in a cool, dark place, around 45 to 65 degrees. Eggshells are very porous to let oxygen into the developing chick and to let carbon dioxide out. Make sure you wash your hands thoroughly before touching the eggs to prevent clogging up the pores. With each egg, the incubation time can be different. For quail, it could be around 14 to 18 days. For emu, it could be up to 7 weeks. To find the best estimate for your egg incubation time, visit the link below. Now that you've got your incubator picked out, make sure it is set up and running 24 to 48 hours before placing your eggs inside. This will give you a chance to get to know how your equipment operates, and to make sure it's running properly. The best temperature for your eggs will be an average of 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit. If it fluctuates higher or lower than that, don't worry. Just as in nature, when the hen leaves the nest, it's okay for your eggs to experience slightly higher or slightly cooler than the recommended 99.5 degrees every once in a while. Another thing to watch during incubation is the humidity inside your incubator. Try to keep it consistently between about 35% and 55% humidity. As with the temperature, it's okay if there is a drop or spike in humidity that's higher than usual. Just add more water or let more moisture out to stabilize your incubator, and your eggs will be just fine. Don't forget, whatever you're using to provide humidity will run out over the course of the incubation period. Check your water supply occasionally just to avoid any surprises. When you're incubating, your eggs will need to be turned at least 3 to 5 times per day. Turning the eggs will exercise the embryo and prevent the bird from sticking to the side of the egg. If you are turning them by hand, it may be helpful to place an X on one side of each egg and an O on the other side in pencil. That will allow you to see which eggs have been turned. And whenever handling eggs, make sure your hands are clean and free from any dirt or greasy substance. While turning your eggs by hand will give them 180 degrees of motion, most eggs will be just fine with as little as 60 degrees. You can use an automatic egg turner like the Incuturn, which will gently rotate your eggs a full 90 degrees once every 4 hours. After you've had your eggs in the incubator for a few days, you'll be able to candle. Candling is when you shine a bright light through the egg to see the development of the chick. You'll be able to see the veins and the embryo as it grows and changes before hatching. Candling with a tool like the Incubright Egg Candler will allow you to see which eggs are progressing and which ones aren't developing further or just weren't fertilized to begin with. Then you'll be able to remove the bad eggs from your batch and keep a closer eye on what's left. Ultimately, the incubation period takes time. While we can see a little of what's going on through candling, there's not much more we can do than wait and relax. You've done a lot by getting the eggs in the incubator ready. Now, it's their turn to do the work. Three days before your eggs are supposed to hatch, it's time to go into lockdown. This is where you'll see all that hard work finally pay off. During lockdown, there are just a couple things we need to take care of before the hatching can begin. You don't want to disturb the incubator by opening and closing it, and you won't want to have the eggs turning anymore. In this period, the chick is getting in position to break out of the shell, and letting your eggs continue to rotate could be disastrous for the chick. If you're using an automatic egg turner like the Incuturn, simply unplug it. If you're using the IncuView all-in-one incubator, it will stop turning your eggs automatically 3 days before the hatch date. When you go into lockdown, you'll typically want to increase your humidity to a range between 65 and 80%. However, make sure to check your incubator's recommendations or limits on the maximum amount of humidity it can handle. Like with temperature, it's good to keep this as consistent as you can during lockdown, so once you get your humidity up, try not to open your incubator and let the moisture or warmth out. Once your eggs have settled, after 2 to 3 days, they'll begin to hatch. Be patient. Different eggs may take a little longer or move a little quicker than the eggs around them. Remember, the best chance of success for your eggs is if you leave them alone. It's natural to want to help them as they make their way out of the egg and into a new world, but don't. You'll give the eggs a better chance of making it by letting nature take its course and allowing them to break out by themselves. Give your chicks up to 48 hours after the hatch date to make sure you don't have any coming in really late. Now that your chicks have hatched, it's time to move them out of the incubator and into the real world. Wait until they are dry, but no longer than 24 hours. When you open the incubator to get them out, move quickly so that the other eggs can stay warm and humid. As fun as hatching eggs is, those newborn chicks can make a mess. Using water and a non-toxic cleaner like the IncuClean sanitizing spray, make sure to wash out the incubator and let it air dry. Then you can use the spray to sanitize your cleaned incubator, which will help prevent additional bacteria, viruses, or other harmful organisms for your next batch. When you get ready to move your chicks out of the incubator, find a place that is warm, dry, and with plenty of food and water to store your chicks. If your chicks are huddled together near the heat source, it might be a little too cold for them. If they are pressed together to the edges of the brooder in the cool spots, it might be too warm. Newborn chicks can do a great job of regulating their own temperature. Just provide them with a container big enough for them to enjoy warmer and cooler temperatures, and they'll do great. A good rule of thumb is to decrease the temperature by about 5 degrees each week until it's the same as the low temperatures outside. At that point, they'll be ready to move from the brooder and into their coop. We hope this guide on incubation has been helpful for you. We want to help more people experience the excitement of incubation. Careful, it can be addicting. If you still have questions, contact the incubation experts at incubatorwarehouse.com. We're easy to reach by phone, email, chat, or Facebook. You can also find us online at incubatorwarehouse.com or on Amazon and eBay. We work hard to consistently achieve high ratings from our customers and look forward to helping you get everything you need to start incubating. Incubatorwarehouse.com. Incubation made easy.